dark outside by the time she finished, with no sign of the manager yet, but that was one of those small mercies for which she was prepared to thank any beneficent deity that might be interested. The authority would be closed by now, possibly still within the hours of cleaning, but locked from the outside and too far out of her way to justify the probability of wasted journey. In the silence of the empty kitchen, Danae was pulling a long skirt over her uniform and trying not to think too hard about whether or not she was bothered about the de facto absence of Taro from her evening, when a thumping at the front door startled her abruptly into the coffee machine. It wobbled reproachfully on its axis, but failed to break in any noticeable manner that could be attributed to her. "We're closed," she snapped. It was fortunate that she had to shout to be heard through the cafe and the closed doors, because it permitted her to fragrance her tone with the satisfied soup song of "fuck the fuck off." She fastened the clasp on her skirt, shrugged into her coat, and the door thumped again. "I said we're closed," she shouted, possibly veering off into the psychotic at the end, but these things couldn't be helped. There was one door out of intimacy, the cafe, and she was about to have to choose one of two equally unpalatable options: remain until the invisible door thumper gave up, whenever that might be, or else attempt to get past the sort of customer that thinks banging on the closed door of a darkened cafe is the path to a late night coffee. She sighed and squeezed her eyes shut in case that might help. The door thumped again. Danae crossed the floor in 6 strides and pressed her face up against the door. "We are closed!" she said, loudly, and in a tone that, at the very least, ought to make the thumper question whether his need for coffee really outweighed his need for testicles. "Yes, I worked that out by myself," said a voice just familiar enough to oblige the common courtesies, even muffled by a door thick enough to withstand the strict spines when things got a bit colourful. "Can I come in? It's pouring out here." Danae sighed again and slid back the retainer bolt. Angelo, to be fair, looked as though he'd swum there. It was exactly the sort of look, dripping with the kind of water that passed through the filters in the district rain cycle, that did not recommend access to a recently clean floor. "Nadine's not here," said Danae, without moving. "Perfect," he said, and rivulets of brackish water rolled off the tops of his lips and into his mouth. "Can I please, and for the love of God, come inside?" Danae regarded him levelly. "Are you kidding?" He looked at her, looked at the rain, spread his arms and shrugged. No, not really. I think I might actually drown." "She's at home," Angelo said Danae, with the moderate tone of desperation that recognised a person who just did not understand the rules of social interaction. "I'm closing up, no one's coming in." "Danielle?" "Danae," said Danae, who suspected he knew her name very well. "Danae, right. Listen, Danae, right. I'm standing in the rain here. I have never been this wet in my entire life. Can I at least come in and jack a phone wave? I will clean the goddamn floor after me." She stared at him. He did indeed look miserable, shoulders hunched against the downpour, collar turned up apparently to better funnel rainwater down his neck, skin shading the greyish pallor of a man who's been in the cold for too long. But he was a man she'd only met once before, and the cafe was deserted. She said, "Angelo, the till is closed, and I've buzzed the takings to head office already." It was a lie, but unless Nadine had actually shown him the unlock key, there was no way for him to know that. Strictly stream point only at this time of night. He blinked. Fractured raindrops scattered from his lashes. "Are you serious?" he said. "I'm closing the door now. I'll tell Nadine you were looking for her." "Are you serious?" he said again. She started to close the door, but he slipped his foot into the jam. "I'm not kidding," she said. "I bet on this door over your foot any day of the week." That made him laugh, which she wasn't expecting. "It's a nice door," he said, "but it's not that nice." "Goodbye, Angelo. Wait a minute." It came as a surprise to her to find out that she was apparently going to wait a minute, mostly because his foot was still in the jam. It'd been a long day, and Danae just did not care about his severed foot anymore. She pushed harder. "Okay, so that actually hurts now," he said. "Of course it hurts," said Danae. "Move your fucking foot out of my fucking door." "Hold on a minute," he said. Danae considered just giving up, throwing the door open and kicking him in the groin, see if he could jam his foot in the jam, and then he said, "Do you actually not know?" The obvious response was, "Do I actually not know what?" But then he would be entitled to tell her. So she went with, "Angelo, I am 2 seconds away from calling the police," which was not original, but was at least thematically consistent. "Good," he said, "call the police. At least I'll have to let go of the damn door and I'll get him out of the rain. Seriously, how can you not know?" He had a point about the door. Danae was tired, hungry, pissed off, and out of options. She gave in. "One phone call," she said. "You have 2 minutes and don't fucking drip on my floor." The dripping comment lacked finesse, because there was absolutely nothing either one of them could do about that, but he was good enough not to mention it. She released the door just far enough to allow him to squeeze himself through, and he stood close beside it, regarding her thoughtfully, and naturally dripping all over the floor. He said again, "How can you not know?" While he showed no inclination to get the phone call over with and get out, she stood close by, defensive, near enough to act, if action was needed, but far enough away to oblige him to declare his action first. She said, "Angelo, I'm not playing. I'm in no mood for this. Phone call and out, or else I'm calling the police." His smirk was arrogant, and she wondered how Nadine tolerated him, but his eyes were confused. He said, slowly, "I clocked you in 3 seconds, as soon as I walked in that night. But you really don't, how can you not know?" Danae, who had a really good stare, met his gaze and held it. But the tiniest kernel of panic had taken root in the pit of her belly. When she spoke, her voice was not as confident as she would have liked, and she could hear the smallest trace of a faint but insistent whine of anxiety in her head. She said, "What don't I know, Angelo?" "About me." Inexplicably, he waved a finger between both of their heads. "Seriously, there's no way you don't feel that." "Your waggling finger?" But the whine was making its presence felt. The question was more like a request. "Please mean your waggling finger?" His eyes narrowed. He was obviously struggling to understand. He said, "I know what you are.